On 16th June, health workers held a demonstration in front of the Provincial Directorate of Health to protest against the Primary Care Physicians Agreement and Payment Regulation, which workers called the Torture Regulation, stating that it deprives both health workers and patients of their rights. They objected to wage deductions imposed when patients do not visit public healthcare centers for 6 months. Workers are continuing to protest against the government's low pay rise offer in the negotiations for the 2025 to 2026 Public Framework Protocol Agreement, which covers 600,000 public sector workers. On 18 June, the Trade Union Confederation Turkish held a protest in front of the Ministry of Treasury and Finance. On 24th June, Turkish-affiliated unions organized marches and press statements in front of workplaces across various sectors. On June 26th, public sector workers across the country staged a half-day work stoppage, and on July 1st, they held demonstrations in city squares, once again declaring, "Enough is enough, our patience has run out." On July 11, Harb-İş Union concluded its march with a press statement, which started from Eskisehir, Istanbul, Izmir, Kayseri, and Kocaeli. Workers from UİD-DER also supported the action. On June 18, the DİSK Sağlık-İş Union held a demonstration in front of the Ministry of Labour to protest against the low wage increase imposed on them. The union began its march from Istanbul to Ankara on July 1st and concluded it with a press statement in front of the Ministry of Labour on July 3rd. Retirees continue to struggle against living in miserable conditions. On 21st June, members of the Retirees Assembly launched a justice march from Istanbul to Ankara in protest against misery wages. On 3 July, they protested against low wages in many cities, from Eskisehir to Muğla. On 13 July, the 2025 Pensioners Report, prepared by DİSK was released to the public at the Pensioners Gathering, organized by the DİSK Emekli Sen Union in Ankara. After a long struggle for a base salary, guaranteed employment and collective bargaining rights, the private sector teachers' union launched the Great Teachers' March from Kadıköy to Ankara on 25th June. The teachers reached Ankara on the 1st of July, and their struggle continues despite all the barriers and attacks they have faced. On 18 June, DİSK Basın İş Union announced that the KRT employees, who had been resisting for 14 days, had won their struggle. The union stated that they would continue the process. Striking Queen Flowers workers, who are members of BTO-SEN Union, are continuing their struggle. The workers made press statements against hostility towards union, workplace harassment and mobbing in front of the Danish consulate in Istanbul and Izmir Dikili Courthouse on 27th June. On 3 July, workers from Petrol-İş Union at the Gubërtaş factory went on strike to protest against the low pay rise offered by the employer during collective bargaining negotiations. To mark the 55th anniversary of the June 15th to 16th Great Workers' Resistance, UİD-DER brought together hundreds of workers under the slogan, "From Tradition to Future, Hope is in Organized Struggle." At the event held on June 29th, the strikes led by the Petrol-İş Union, that began on May 22nd against the imposed low wage increases at the DYO paint factories in Kocaeli Dilovası and Izmir, Chile, ended in victory on July 4th. At the Axel Bicycle Factory, workers from the Birleşik Metal İş Union went on strike on 11 July to protest the imposition of low wages. Members of Belediye İş Union, a total of 360 workers from İzdoğa, İzulaş, and İzbeton, companies affiliated to Izmir Metropolitan Municipality, were dismissed on unfair grounds. After marching on 9th July, the workers began their resistance in front of the Sovereignty House.